Okay guys, we're gonna talk about the muscle snatches and the tall snatches that you're gonna do in today's kind of like warm up. On the muscle snatch, we have to slow everything down. This is just for us to work on bar path, basically. The bars pulled no further than your sternum. I still see like a lot of people pulling way up here, and you'll see that my elbow's pointing backwards. We'll talk about that in a bit. What we want is the bar pulled no further than your sternum, and then the elbows point upward. So you have to fight for a position for that bar to stay close. What I mean is when you are here and we pull, we're only pulling to our sternum. From here, the wrists turn under, and then we press out, right? From the side view, right? No higher than your sternum, turn, press out, okay? This should be done at a very slow speed. You want to be able to feel the path of the bar. If we're going too fast, then we're not making those connections in our nervous system, and our brain and our body aren't really talking to each other. So what I mean by that is if you go too fast, right, a lot of people are still doing this flip. So they'll go, right? When you have like a lot of weight on that bar, you're not gonna be able to flip that bar. We have to make sure that it gets to about mid-sternum, right? That's where the turnover starts to happen, and then we are pressing out, right? It's a little bit different when we're doing power snatches, because we do have to pull a little bit harder because we can't catch in a bottom position. But when you are doing this, make sure that we're only going to mid-sternum, turning over, and then pressing, right? We're working on bar path here, okay? Let's talk about the elbows. If you think of your elbows being arrows, they need to point upwards. The reason why we only go to mid-sternum is you'll see what happens to my elbows, especially from the side. If I fight for a position, I can pretty much keep it straight. You really have to focus on this position, keeping this bar going upwards, right? You'll kind of see my hand pointed down and coming up, right? Depends on flexibility. The reason for this is that if we get a little bit lazy, right, and then the shoulders roll forward, right, and we're kind of right here, the bar's gonna go out, right? So we go for that press, the bar goes out. For some of us, we will pull this way, and you'll see that my elbows are going backwards. What happens there is now that we're not able to actually pull the bar upwards to continue that floating feeling of the bar, what happens now is that it becomes more of a flip, right? It gets heavy, and if you do somehow make the catch, it usually ends up back here, right, with the back arched, or we totally just miss it, right? We want to be in that strong neutral position, so you have to fight for this bar to stay close with the elbows pointed up, and then we finish, right? The last thing is we want to make sure that we are pulling the bar and we are not shrugging the bar. Actually, I don't like that word. What happens in a shrug is that the bar changes its path. You can kind of see it from here. I'll show it from the front, you might not be able to see it, but if we shrug, right, the bar changes direction. It goes outwards, right? We don't want that. We want the bar to stay close. The only way that we can do that is by pulling. The shrug is just a byproduct of our pull. So Don't shrug. When you're going for these muscle snatches, it's not, and then pull. You'll see how far that bar is away from me, right? It's a pull. Fight for the bar to stay close. Press out, okay? Then we'll transition. So once we kind of have worked on that, and the coaches have ran you through that, then we're gonna take it to the tall snatch. The tall snatch, it's gonna start at your finished position or your full extension. That is where we are on our toes, right? I wouldn't say that we're forcing ourselves to get on our toes. Of course, here we have to, because we don't have that ability to drive up, right? What I want you to focus on though is when you are in that full extension, our legs, right? Our legs and our glutes are squeezed tight, okay? Really focusing tight, right? Strong neutral, driving all the way up, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on, when we go for the catch, is sliding our feet out into our catch position. Our catch position or our squat position to finish the lift. What we're gonna do is basically catch it in a power position. We're not gonna go all the way down to the hole. What we're gonna do is literally, right, the bar, right, is we're gonna stand tall, right? My legs and my glutes are tight, right? I'm not shrugging. From here, I'm gonna pull close, right? And sliding my feet out to the catch, okay? So I'm not stomping into the ground. I'm not trying to get, 2 to 3 inches off the ground. The reason for that is whether it's the clean or the snatch, let's say 95 pounds, right? We go for this and then we jump. This 95 pounds is not 95 pounds anymore. Gets heavier because gravity, right? Crashes down on us, so we don't want that. What we're looking for is speed from our full extension, where the toes are, right? That's enough room for us to actually start pulling ourselves under and turning the wrists, and then punching ourselves under the bars, okay? So we're gonna stay tall, squeeze, right? Okay. Stacking everything from our shoulders to our hips to midfoot, okay? When I say the catch position, some of us may want to start training how to squat from the bottom position. What I'm saying is that you should be able to bounce out of a clean. We don't really do it in a snatch position, but we can do this as like skill work. So the way that it's gonna look today, okay? Side position, right? We're gonna get nice and tall, right? You can see me fully extended. Okay, we're gonna get nice and tall. I'm squeezing, right? I'm pulling, trying to keep my elbows up as high as I can without rounding over. Okay, and from there, this is where I start to turn over and I press under. Okay, with you guys, you'll probably stay here and then you're gonna catch in the power position. Okay, so fight, right? We don't want this. We don't want to flip, okay? Nice and tall. Okay, when I say speed in our catch, it doesn't mean land wider, right? So everyone thinks, okay, catch, and I have to go wide. We're looking for speed, we're not looking for width, okay? So, nice and tall. All right, we're gonna turn. And it literally, from here, I'm just dropping, pressing under, okay? Now when I talk about being able to bounce, your back squat, your front squat, overheads, cleans, even air squats, those things should probably not ever change, okay? You should be able to, right? If you had to, get to the bottom, bounce out. Whether it's the clean, right? Should be able to bounce out. Air squat, overheads, we really don't want to bounce from the overhead position, but it's a good rule of thumb to know that you can bounce out of any squat, okay? So if you're unable to, let's say, get out here and try to bounce out, or you can't feel that you're driving through your legs, then we need to change your squat, okay? That's something that you do on your own. We can definitely help you guys out, but those are like points of performance today, right? Muscle snatches. Let's go over it again. Bar pulled no further than your sternum, okay? Not out here. Okay, we want the bar to be able to float. If we pull too high, it stops, okay? Elbows point upwards as far as we can, right? We are looking for you to try and get the elbows up, okay? Don't shrug, okay? When you shrug, changes the position, right? We don't want that. It's a pull, not a shrug. On the tall snatch, it requires our legs and glutes flexed, okay? If we don't do that and we kind of just get lazy, right? And we're just like on our calves and our toes, we're not getting that full drive upwards, okay? Slide the feet to catch position, don't jump to it, okay? So when you're in that tall position, right, we're just dropping into it fast, okay? We're not pulling our feet up, slamming down on it, okay? We don't want that bar bouncing on us. And then play around with it. Should be able to bounce out of your catch position, right? Even if we catch it here, we should be able to go all the way down, should be able to bounce out of that, okay? If you're unable to bounce out through that or feel your legs drive yourself upwards and then everything is just through here, then we need to change your squat. So good luck, and yeah.